Hey everyone, welcome to the Self-Woven Podcast, a way of living your uniqueness. We are your hosts, Danita and Brea.
By yourself, change to fate, yeah. I alone love you. I alone tempt you. I alone love you. All right, fear is not the end of this. Yeah.
That's got to be 1994, 1995. You like to throw out these early 90s things. That was live. I didn't know what you were going to play, as I never know, but that was my first real concert at like a major venue. And I will never forget it. I will never forget it. And I was so young. And I remember it was a friend's parents. They took us over here to take a ferry boat to get off Vancouver Island over to Vancouver, downtown, in the big city. And, we had like nosebleed seats, of course, because, we're kids. We had no money. But I remember people sharing the marijuana. And I was like, and, this wasn't something foreign to me by this point. But I was like, I can't believe I'm in here with adults. I'm a kid, basically, like 14, 15, partaking in this thing. And it was just like the coolest experience ever.
My first kiss was to this song.
Oh, I mean,
we each have our own stories.
I have zero memory of whatever song was playing, if there was a song playing. Like, damn, oh shit, who was my first kiss? I'm gonna have to think about this. Maybe I haven't had one yet.
Maybe this was the song that was just playing in my head. I alone love you.
Oh my God.
But I don't know, when I think of this song, there's it brings back a whole bunch of memories, but it also brings up a lot of energy. And sometimes it gets me a little a little angry. I don't know why, but the song makes me feel a little bit just a little ragey on the inside.
Danita, have you ever heard me talk about my love of anger?
Well, yes, I have. Yeah, I think everyone on here wants to hear how you love anger. And actually, I want to hear you. I want to hear a little anger in Brea.
I could definitely bring in some anger. Okay, here's the thing. To me, anger, if it's not the violent kind of anger, if it's not the abusive kind of anger, we have gotten confused between that there's actually different types of anger. And I would say abusive anger, violent anger, that's not actually the type of anger. That's something a little bit different. The energy of that is a little bit different. Anger is an explosion. Anger comes from generally a boundary being set. It's like a no. It's a type of expression. And sometimes it involves us blowing something up. And this is what scares us so much because we don't know if we're ever going to be able to fix it again, if we're going to be able to make it right again. And my thought around that is that let it explode, let it blow up, and then see what happens, because it is so much easier to rebuild something when it's been completely demolished than it is to rebuild something and fix it in little ways that we do. And oh, I'm sorry, let me make that right. Okay. And then we'll fix this over here and then we'll sort that out. If we just lay all the chips on the table and we just make a big explosion, we can actually figure out what is true to us. Where are our boundaries? Where's our yes? Where's our no? What do we really want? What's okay? What's not okay? And then we can be in that expression and allow our life to rebuild from that place of inner knowing and inner strength. Anger is another, it's boundaries, right? And it's honest. Yeah, I really see anger as being a very positive emotion, short of the abusive side of anger, of course, and all of the other things. But I really see it as a positive emotion. It's a type of love too. It's like another form of expression of love. And it's almost like the love for ourselves. And say if it has anger might be directed towards somebody, but maybe that's because there is love there for them, or at least there's a boundary being set for them, which underneath of that boundary is a form of love.
Right, because if you didn't care about the person,
yeah, you wouldn't bother fighting or exploding or whatever the thing is, Now, I mean, love is a whole other world, because then we're talking, I think we often get confused about what love really is.
Love to me actually seems a lot more complicated than anger.
It is.
the facets of love seem much more complex than anger. To me, anger is like something hurt me and made me upset. And whether it's with a boundary that's been placed or something that I feel inside of myself that isn't being honored, whether it's myself not honoring myself and I'm allowing someone else to not honor me, then I'm angry at myself, but I'm also angry at them. Anger can also get a little bit complex, but that whole feeling of just like, I'm angry when it's expressed, I don't want to say healthy because I think there's a different term that each person has for what healthy anger is. My healthy anger is an explosion, but it's not mean. It's just like a something needs to come out of me because I'm really upset. And that is an anger. When like meanness or manipulation or abuse or violence come into play, that's different, right? That's also different than just the straight emotion of anger.
Once we go through feeling anger and the intensity of it, it actually always does come back to ourselves. So the change then comes back to ourselves. Yes, often the initial anger is faced outwards, but it's like, well, how did I get in this situation in the first place? What am I allowing? Where is the discipline for myself? Where does that need to come into play here? And so then it comes back onto ourselves. So, okay, what changes do I want to make in my life for me? And this is where it gets hard, especially when we're talking about intimate relationships with our children or our parents. Like, this is where the complexities lie. But also, again, this is why I kind of like anger, because it can be used as a tool to just let things come out, explode, die. And then we can see the process of rebirth happening from a different place.
Let it die. I mean, that sounds so scary. When you say that, it's like, I'm going to let it die. I'm going to use a relationship as an example. Okay, I'm going to explode and I'm just going to let the relationship die and see if it comes back together. Like, that's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust that you're having, that your anger is going to be accepted and received well. It's a lot of trust that you yourself are going to be honest enough within your own anger about what that means. And then in the rebuild, to not fall back onto like just old patterns or old kind of ideas just to placate yourself or the other person, like to make yourself feel safe inside. It's like, oh, I was really, really honest, but I'm not ready for the thing that's coming. So let's pretend I didn't say it.
Well, let's be honest here. Most people don't know how to hold anger. And that's why we're having this conversation and bringing that to seeing if we can start to build a relationship with it where it actually becomes more positive and we see how it can be useful and insightful. Because yes, if we just go and allow our anger to be expressed in a full amount, but it's kind of directed at another person, maybe in the ideal situation, and I'll say this, when I've had a partner and I've had to express anger, I have said like, hey, I need you to know I need to do full expression here. Can you just listen? And like, can you just be with that? And it's not going to be comfortable. And then, if they say no, then like, okay, then that's for me to go and go work with my anger myself, right? And close the door to my bedroom and I go hit my bed, hit some pillows, do whatever I do. I have like this.
That seems very mature, because I feel like in that situation, I'd be like, oh, you can't handle it? I'll give you like 5 minutes to get it together and then I'm coming in hot.
Danita, that's forcing an outcome on a person. But this is what we do, okay? So like I'm talking about the ideal situation. And this is why anger can be so explosive and people aren't ready to hold it. Because one, we've had awful experiences with anger in the past. We've often had awful experiences with our parents, our siblings. Some of us have been hit, shoved, verbally, physically, sexually, mentally abused, like all of these different things that, can be in our past. And then there's the teenage years and all that part, more anger, workplace anger. So a lot of us aren't comfortable with anger. So then when our partner wants to express anger, our walls go up and we're like, whoa, that's so bad. Like, don't be angry. Keep your voice down. Don't yell. I don't put up with yelling. It's not acceptable. if we come to know anger and we have a healthy relationship with it, then people can actually express and find that freedom within themselves within the context of being respectful of each other and making sure they're prepared for it. And we're not just throwing it onto somebody who A, isn't ready, or B, just isn't ready in this moment.
So how do you get ready for anger? Like I think there's this. I think you spend some time with yourself first.
Yeah, we got to get to know it in ourselves. We have to be okay with it in ourselves first.
Yeah, we have to know what it feels like within us and really spend some time and be like, okay. And then also the other is when you can feel the anger coming at you, being able to say, yes, I'm ready. No, I'm not ready. And recognizing in that moment that the anger is not at you. Now, there can also be anger if like an infraction has occurred or something, there could be anger. But ultimately, at the end, it's still the person angry at themselves that they allowed the infraction to occur.
Yeah, but so I would want to encourage my partner if I had done something to allow, and say it was like a thing enough to like invoke some anger, like legitimately, not just like, and I don't like this pretend we're going to be angry and express. No, we're not pretending anything. So let's say I fucked up and my partner is going to be mad at me. I want that to be directed at me. If as it needs to be, it will turn back into self-direction eventually. But like, I have something to learn from that too. And I want to learn that. Like, what was I doing? What was I missing? Where could I be more understanding, more compassionate? Where do I, like being open to changing ourselves or how we look at something? We're all here to learn and to grow. And so we can't do that if we're just like, I'm wrong and you're right, or you're right and I'm wrong, whatever the things are, right? It's never like that. It's always complex and it always involves more than one person.
Sometimes I don't know that we know what the anger is really for. Like we just know that we have this sensation inside that's so deep and so powerful and so strong. And maybe it's because we've been just like shoving it down and it's taken, years for us to vocalize something. Or maybe it's been months or however long it's been. And so when you do vocalize it, you're like, why am I so angry? After it's happened, it takes a little bit to get to the root of how come that anger came out in such an explosion.
And I think this is because of the dysregulation we hold in ourselves, because anger was seen as such a negative thing for us growing up. Like our society still thinks of anger as being a very negative. That's like, that is not what you want. You need to go down the path of self-development and self-worth so that you don't have anger anymore, rather than actually coming into it, getting to know it, and having a different relationship with it and seeing how it can actually be positive and help us really setting the groundwork for realignment, especially if we're able to allow things to die. Oh, it's uncomfortable. And so this is the choice we make. Are you more comfortable staying in the patterns that you know, because even if you don't like them, you feel safe with them because you know them and you know what to expect? Or do you want to change and see what else might be available for you, a different way of living perhaps, or a different alignment within yourself? And so these are the choices we make, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just that they're different paths.
How do you know you're ready? How do you know you're ready for the death?
Well, I always put it this way. If the pain point, this is how it works for most of us, the pain point of doing something the same way that's not working, and it just starts to eat us from the inside out. It's just like we literally start to feel like we're dying. It becomes so painful that we're like, okay, I'm ready for change. I give up. I give up. It's like that giving up notion. Fine, take me, do whatever needs to happen. I'm done. I can't live like this anymore. Anyone that's gone through a divorce understands that, probably major career changes, anything like that, where you're just like, I'm done. I am done. That's because the pain got so much that you said no, or you said I need change, or you said not this way, a different way. The other way is preemptive. It's a little bit softer. It's like, I feel from my knowing inside that this isn't the path I want to be on anymore.
How many people are saying this, Brie?
I get to work with a lot of clients that do get to kind of move from that point. But It's available and we don't have to choose it. We can wait. I still do. I'll wait for the pain to get so strong. Yeah, I'll wait for the explosion. Sure. See what happens. Let it all explode. Let the bomb go off. See what happens. There's no right or wrong way. There's no one judging you. I mean, there might be people judging you, but there's no sort of just life. It's just another way to experience something. So we don't need to beat ourselves up if we fucked it all up. It's okay. It's really okay, even though I know it hurts. Oh, I know it hurts.
Well, and I think when we start down the thing of saying like, I fucked it all up, it's like, did you? Or were you just being honest? And it took you that long to get to the point to just say like, I'm done. Yes. I'm done is like my word. Whenever I'm like, I'm done. But then I'm usually done just for a moment and then I reevaluate things.
But getting to that point, doesn't that feel good to get, maybe not in the moment, but to get to the point, yeah, it makes something change. And this is what I mean. Like, I'm allowing the blow up to happen. I'm allowing things to settle in a different way. I'm going to reevaluate. Like, of course, anger, explosion. Then what? You go on your bed, you cry, you hit the pillows, you calm down, and then you're like, okay, that part, now how else? How can I move forward from a slightly different space or a different way? Not everything means a 180, right? It might, but it also might not. It just means you're coming from a different place. Your boundaries might be slightly different. What's acceptable might be slightly different. Where you can have the introspection into yourself. Like, what if you get in a fight with somebody and they're yelling at you and they're telling you all these things and some of it's true? Don't you want to know that? Do you want to sit with that? Allow yourself to feel that? Your first reaction might be anger. Like, damn it, that person's so wrong. They're lying. They're making all this shit up. And then like, oh yeah, actually, there's a little bit of truth in there. Right. Okay. So some adjustments needed.
What is that Friends episode? Pivot with the couch. It's just pivoting. I think a lot of the time is like, you hear something, you get the information, and it's a small pivot. There will be the times where it's a huge explosion in your life. I don't even know if a 180, it's like a full, complete turnaround, like new world happens. But I think a lot of this anger just shifts us just slowly into like more growth, more development, if we can hear it.
Especially if we can accept it. And that's the thing. If we keep pushing the anger down and shutting it out, either from the outside world or internally, we're missing the message and the opportunity to do something in a different way that might actually be to our benefit. And that's all. And that's why I think that having a different relationship with anger is so important.
You don't have to be angry. Like, it's not like I'm angry and that's it. It's like, no, I feel anger and I'm also happy. I'm also okay. I'm really, really mad at you, but you're still a good person. Like, there's all types of things that can be happening with the anger once you start to get to know it a little bit more. It's like, anger doesn't have to be, I hate you, it's fucking over.
And the intensity of anger, if you're okay with it, so if you allow the intensity of it, it's actually a very quick emotion. Like, it actually comes in strong and fast and quick. So we don't actually need to spend in that deep, deep intensity of it that long with it to really know it. And then, yes, we can be then open. Anger, rage, it can kind of like be all encompassing all at once. And it's hard to really feel like, okay, yeah, I'm actually okay at the same time, like right in the crux of it. Like, let's say 10 minutes of anger. It's hard to be like, and I'm also okay. But outside of those, yes, it comes in fast and strong. And then, yes, we can be like, yeah, everything. I'm still a bit angry. I'm frustrated. I'm resentful. I'm also okay. I'm also laughing. I'm also calling a friend. I'm also, enjoying my children, like whatever. I'm petting my dog, like all the other things too.
Totally. Like residual anger, not heat of the moment anger, residual anger. Heat of the moment, sometimes I really like to feel that like, because then it just gets it all out. Okay, well, Brie, now that I know that you can hold my anger.
And, okay, so, and this is the reality is like, because I'm okay with anger, this means that people can express anger to me, which is very helpful in my line of work. so that people can be angry and then they can get to know it with themselves. It's their relationship with it changes. And this is a gift we can give to everybody if we come to be okay with it within ourselves and have a different relationship with it. Abusive, violent anger directed outside of us without context is not what I'm talking about here. Road rage is a really good example, actually, because that's something that's directed outside of us. And that is one where, like, can you be okay with being mad in the moment and just allow that to pass? Like, there are a lot of people that experience road rage and then they're mad the entire day. I'm suggesting maybe just be mad in that moment. Be mad for 5-10 seconds. Do the thing, scream and shout, put on a song that's like something hardcore that you can just like sing to and yell at, and then you're done. The person wasn't doing it at you. They don't know you. It is not personal. It's okay to be angry for a moment too.
Because they cut you off.
Whatever they did. So that's okay.
My one thing that I always notice about anger is just that the moment that I just say, I'm done. So when I notice I'm saying I'm done, it's like, it's time. It's time to look at this a little bit more and really see where it's coming from and what to do with it. Love it. Okay, thanks everyone for listening. So next time you have road rage, you know what to do.
Thank you.
Put on Rage Against the Machine, maybe some live, headbang it out.
Yep.
And then go about your day.
Go about your day. It's all okay. Love you guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Self-Woven. You can find us on our website, selfwoven.com, to learn more about our community, where we link people embracing their unrefined, unpolished, and unrestricted way of living. Those who are looking to explore their unique energetic, spiritual, and physical essence. This is where we go deeper and share opinions and celebrate our deeper layered experiences, and where we connect in embracing authenticity, deepening our connection to ourselves and the world around us. And also, here is our disclaimer that this information shared is our opinions and experiences and is not medical advice. There has been no client relationship established, and the use of this information is at the user's own risk and does not substitute for any mental health or medical diagnosis or treatments.